Now then YouTube, how are you doing? Now today's potentially the video that you've been waiting for. My E46 and my MR2 are in good fettle, they're nearly there. There's not a lot really wrong with them. There's a lot wrong with this. I've got a big blank whiteboard that I want to fill with items, and I need to know exactly where I am with my Integra. So, bit of backstory, if you don't know my Integra, I've had it 8 years now, the car. Next month I'll have owned the car 8 years, so longest I've ever owned a car. A lot of you know the car from Nürburgring trips, Nürburgring videos and track days and stuff like that. The car's not actually run, or certainly I've not driven the car since 2017 I believe. So it's been off the road quite a while. I had a gearbox fault with it, with my K20A, and from that day the car just kind of slowly but surely went off the road and stayed off the road for a long time. In that time I've sold parts for the car, for the K-series conversion, the exhaust and stuff like that. I've sold loads of bits. That was to pay for MR2 activities last year. I had good fun in the K20 MR2 last year, but you know, there was a cost and a lot of the DC2 parts went. So I really need to see just exactly what I've got and what I need, and hopefully today I can make that list. You've seen a video I did a couple of months ago where we got the K24 installed. So there is an engine in there, but there's nothing round it. There's no wiring loom or anything like that. The wiring loom that I'm going to use is the one off my K20A. So I need to strip that wiring loom off the engine, get that installed. That's going to be a bit of a pain. I should have really done that with the engine out of the car, but I just really want to get the engine in the car. This is not even my car cover, but don't tell him. I don't know if Dan's watching. So just briefly, why has the car been off the road for 3 years? What's been happening? If you're not aware, it had a lot of rust that probably should have written the car off, but you know, we ended up getting it fixed. One of my friends stitched it back together for me. So that took quite a long time to get the rust repaired. In that time, like I say, I sold stuff to get the car repaired as well as working on the MR2, and I also got a 6-point, quite a nice MSA spec roll cage fitted last year as well. That was from Arc Autosport in Doncaster. So, you know, I've put some money into the car and into the shell, certainly, but I've also taken some parts away with, I think I've got a swap harness and I need to buy a new ECU and stuff like that. But I know that, but there's going to be more stuff to get down on the notes. So let me get started, let me get everything somewhat organised, and then I'll get on with that Dc2 content. Right, so that's the current state. Definitely looks more together than what it is. That windscreen, for example. I have to do another windscreen job in future. Right, so this is my Integra as she sits, 2020 May. After 8 years of ownership. Well, it's June. It's next month that I cross my 8 years, but this is how she currently looks. So I got my roll cage done last year, as I said, from Arc. I got that painted as well. I think I did a video actually. So that's all good, looking nice. Got my Recaro there as well. I've got another Recaro. I've not got my black SPGs anymore because they went in the black MR2 to Barcelona, but I've still got 2 red SPGs for the Integra. So my K24. So there's a few questions about this. Now I didn't build this, I got Josh to do it for me, but it's essentially a K24 with a few K20A2 parts on it from the EP3 Civic Type R. So I think it's got the oil pump, the inlet cam, some VTC stuff. So it's got everything that it needs now to have a tune put on there, and hopefully should make similar power to what the K20A did, but obviously it'll have a lot more torque. So interesting to see how that does on the circuit. I was reading something that Ben Rushy put on the Instagram the other day as well when he switched to K24 from K20A, and yeah, he found it a lot faster on circuit as well. Just the extra displacement. The peak power is going to be about the same, you see. It's not going to be any more powerful as such, but because you're generating that much more torque, you just get up through the gears better. So yeah, the engine's sat in on my mounts. You saw this last time. There's a bit of welding to do on the back, but I'm not going to stress about that. So the engine's got absolutely sack all manifolds on it. It's got no wiring on it, you know, no hoses or anything like that. The scuttle panel's missing, the wiper stuff. That's all in the back of the boot from when the windscreen was removed for the roll cage last year. There's my dashboard. So part of the cage I got this bar welded in across as well, which is all very nice. It's still a bit dusty in there from when I painted it, of course. Here's my Integra, still the same, yeah, absolutely nothing. So, plan for today then, I've got a lot of bits on shelves, in boxes, and just kind of scattered all over the place for this car. I need to try and find a bit of plastic trim for the M3 as well. So I'm going to convince myself, or commit myself, let's say, to not quite tidying this mess, but certainly having a good look at it and seeing if I can find, well, firstly seeing what I can find for the Integra, what I can actually get installed onto the car and get us a step further forward to being a running engine, and then hopefully find that bit of plastic trim for the M3 which is preventing me from putting them under trays on. That'd be nice. Right, I haven't found anything worthwhile, but I did find some cool stuff. How's this going again? Oh yeah. Fucking shite. It's turning up bits, this search. Not turned up the bits I want yet, but it has turned up bits for the MR2, which only yesterday I had to get in touch with Dick Sloan and order another one of these because I thought I'd lost it for good. And it was just on the shelf. Bastard. Right, I've been gone ever so slightly, half an hour or so, but listen to this. Handbrake. For some reason it's far more effective on the passenger side than it is on the driver's side. And I've just had a look trying to figure out how to adjust this thing, but it's not having it. But it holds pretty well anyway, or it seems to. So yeah, I'm glad I found that bracket. A bit annoyed that I found it the day after ordering a replacement part, thinking that I'd lost it. The blue MRS didn't have any of them either, they were gone. So anyway, handbrake's on. Top banana. Leave that where it is. I've still not done my tidying up yet. I've not completed that. You're here for the day, you're here for the long haul. Speaking of cool stuff. Hey. Don't know about you lot, but I like to keep all my old reg plates, you know, just in case. What do you think these are? Answers on a postcard. I'll tell you what, the break there, that gives you a clue. Hello, sweetheart. That's the piece off the M3 that we're missing. I found it. See, it was worth having a look. All the time it was actually in the box that was just down here. It was in the Lifeline box, so I have actually been there quite recently, but whatever. Success. So we found some good stuff today. Some of the Toyota stuff, but yeah, I'm fucking chuffed to find that. I know we're having a DC2 day. I know this is Dc2 Content day, but we'll get there in a sec. I'm fucking well chuffed I found that. Alright, I don't know if you can tell, but this is quite a transformation on the old organisation station. We've even got recycling's ready. Can't recycle at the minute because I don't think the centre's open, but it's ready to recycle. I don't know how long I've been into this video yet. I don't know how pissed off people are going to be because of the Dc2 content not quite being delivered. But we've had a good tidy up. She's just behind here, look. I accidentally wiped loads of stuff off my whiteboard, but I made a quick list and, you know, it's pretty obvious stuff really. Now, what I did with this car, when I stripped it down when the gearbox broke, I sold quite a lot of parts, mostly just for fun doing other stuff, as you do with cars, you know. Especially if you've got a couple, take some parts off that one, get some money from that and spend it elsewhere. That's how it works. So I'm actually missing quite a few bits, and yeah, I'm just going to reel them off. I've got no coilovers, I've got no exhaust at all, no manifold, no system, nothing. I've got no intake manifold. I don't really know what I'm going to run, to be honest. Maybe an RBC. I need an ECU. K-Pro V4 is what I'm after. If you've got one and you want to sell me one. I sold Chuck mine for 450 quid, and that's the most I want to pay for another one. If it's even less, then that'll be ideal. Got no drive shafts, no swap harness. I need to get some windscreen sealant because the windscreen obviously doesn't fit. I need a new shifter. Hybrid Racing did message me, David from Hybrid Racing, saw that I was back on with the Integra a couple of months ago and asked if I'd like to have the new hybrid shifter in it. So yeah, it looks like we might be getting the V2 or V3, whatever it is, Hybrid Racing shifter for the Integra, which would be nice. Cut off switch, battery. I mean, this is all just put. I should have just put the car back together really, because there's just all sorts of stuff to do. Problem is not having stuff, but today is the day where we try and get as much stuff back together as we can. Now, the only thing that I've come across on my travels of tidying up this morning that we could actually put on the Integra, I mean, we could put the doors back on, we could put the bonnet back on, but I don't really want to do that at the minute. I've got my old fuel system just about, or I've got what's left of it. Now, I need to buy some new lines, I need to order some new lines, so that's maybe something that we can plot, make his minds up what we're going to do. I've not got an intake manifold on it, so I can't put my fuel rail on it, but I should be able to mount the fuel filter, maybe get the fuel lines back in, and then I've got a fuel pressure regulator as well from Hybrid Racing to go on, which is something that I got, again, another part that I got new from Hybrid Racing a couple of years ago, and we never made it as far as even installing that. So yeah, it would be nice to get back on with this, so let's do it. We need to address the elephant in the room. It's the K20. It's been a while since I've seen this old girl. So there's my old K20A. So this is the engine that went in after the B18C, the Integra's original engine. This is the K20A from the Dc2 Type R. Now this was actually installed, not to this car, but into another Dc2 in Japan. And then the car was imported by Tegiwa, and someone crashed it, so I had the engine out of it. I think this was about 2016, about 4 years ago, maybe a bit more. So yeah, the engine did me really well. I didn't have a single bit of problem with it, kind of, you know, no bearings or fucking anything like that. As you'd expect with a Honda engine, I just kind of fitted it and drove it and it was fine. So the engine was great. I had a problem with the transmission, and that's why the car came off the road. So that was fixed. It was only a simple thing as well, but once I started looking at the car and all the bits that it needed doing, and by that time I'd owned the car about 5 years, so you know I was already quite into it, and you know I'd done quite a lot in it, and the car was getting very tired of my shit, very tired of my driving, all that stuff. So you know it was due a refresh, and yeah, I've just not really had the time to do it. Yeah, here's my K20A. So it's not looking it's quite as fresh as what it did when it went in. Obviously alloy, it's alloy block, alloy sump, alloy everything, so you know what that gets like when it's sat for a little while. But she's alright. So I think this is untested, so I started unplugging it a little bit. I need to get the wiring loom switched across. So I mean it's a bit dirty, so maybe give it a little bit of a clean at the same time, but underneath this lovely Hybrid Racing coil pack cover and my little Hybrid Racing, this was always a bit of a twat to be honest. There we go. Oh yeah, it's definitely an engine down there, boys. So yeah, I didn't really know what to do with this, and I was thinking of selling it. I did advertise it for 1,500 quid, which I thought was fair, but didn't get any buyers. So I can't see myself having another project to put it in, not now that we're on with the race series, hopefully. So the idea was to get it all together, and then I could know which one I liked best, and then I could sell the other one. But I'm just at the stage now where I've got both the engines, but none of them running, and the car's in quite a state. So let's get this wiring loom bunged over then. I've started looking at the fuel stuff as well, like I mentioned. Where's my fuel pressure regulator? So there's the Hybrid Racing fuel pressure regulator. I was just going to mount it on the passenger side strut tower, which is where my old fuel pressure regulator was. And then I've also got a Bosch fuel filter, just a off-the-shelf kind of generic one with a clamp. I had some problems with fuel filters on this car when it was the K series, the K20, sorry, when I was at the Nürburgring, and yeah, it was all caused by a fuel filter which was blocked, an aftermarket fuel filter that was blocked. This one's made by Bosch, so it should be alright, it's a bit bigger as well. So yeah, the idea was to put this on. I've still got it, so I guess we'll still be putting it on. Nice. Right, so I'm going to get this stripped off, get it onto that, maybe do some stuff with my fuel, and I'll show you how I do. Well, I've just been struggling with this for a while. Got the alternator wiring in, all good. Starter motor fine. This is the wiring for the injectors, and the injector earths on there, so there it is. Injector earths there. This is the wiring down here for the throttle body and the air intake stuff. The wiring going up there goes up to the fuse box. Now it's the wiring up here, and it's this kind of cage, this plastic cage that the K20 loom has around it. Now, because of the way that the water comes out on the K24 compared to the K20, yeah, I'm having a real bad time trying to get everything plugged in. I've got pretty much everything plugged in, but this connects down here for the gearbox. So I've been wrestling with it for a while, but spoke to the Oracle himself, who recommended just sacking it off. I'll try and maybe keep as much of it as I can, if that's a thing. I don't know. I kind of like having it together, but then at the same time we need to tidy up some of the wiring anyway. It's come apart quite a bit on the injector loom. It just looks a bit messy.
If I sound out of breath, I am. We've just pushed Audi onto the ramp, and she's a big old girl. Oh, she's a big old girl. But yeah, so the Integra, the wiring loom then. So I've had to patch up a few little bits just with some cloth tape that I had. Nothing fancy, just better than exposed wires. On that plastic, just wiring loom tidy thing off the K20, so I've cut it just before that neck coming out there, and the cable tie around the back. So my heater pipes, I don't know, it's pretty close, man. But these two are the heater pipes, so we'll decide what we're doing with them in the future. Bit of tape, loom on there as well, loom tape, whatever you want to call it. And this is, looks like a previous attempt. That's come off, so I need to just, there we go, fixed it. Oh shit. So the wiring's all plugged in now, which is nice. Other than, of course, the throttle body stuff, and then the injector loom just over there. And the actual wiring harness itself back into the Dc2 has gone into there. That's where I used to run it. And there's another hole next to it which is a bit smaller, which might be more ideal. It just depends if you can get the connectors through it. Now, I know I said at the start that I was going to gut the inside out to see what I've got. Maybe put some doors on. The doors are behind here, look. But, you know, I don't think I will. Not today, at least. Now, I've also mounted up my, basically mock fitted it. I've only put one bolt in it. This is the Hybrid Racing fuel pressure regulator. And there's the fuel filter, which I think I showed you earlier. The big lad, because I had some problems with smaller fuel filters, the aftermarket ones. I guess you could still use the original one. Some people still do use the original Honda one. Because of the engine swap, traditionally you're going to use a custom fuel setup because you need to have a fuel pressure regulator. So what's going to happen here is I've put one line on just to briefly mock it up, but here's my fuel filter. So my fuel will come in from the tank there. This fuel filter flows this way into the fuel pressure regulator. So off here onto the into the fuel rail, and then there's a return barb at the bottom to have the return line. These are my old fuel lines. I don't know if I might just bung these back on, to be honest, because I think it was like an eBay 50 quid kit with AN fittings and stuff. It was the first time I played with AN fittings when I got this. So yeah, they'll probably send back on. There's not a fuel tank on the car at the minute. I showed you my tank straps earlier as well, so you know, I've got all the bits. Not sure if I'll replace the tank straps. What do you reckon? They look alright to me. Might just be something I inspect. I'll maybe just remake them entirely because it's probably the way they're made with them spot welds, that's where they go. Right, I need to move me bimmer because my next video, well, tomorrow's job at least, I'm going on that yellow ramp and doing alignment and setting my suspension a bit on the E46. I need to remember to undo all the suspension and let it sag normally on the 4-post ramp, so I've not done that yet. So if I forget, you're a fucking knobhead, future me. Yeah, so yeah, we're there on the Integra. I think I've just about caught my breath back from pushing the Audi onto the ramp. MR2, what are you doing? Why are you so far away? Eh?
Right, that brings us to the end of today's video. I know I've not done a lot, and I know we spent a lot of time, or at least I spent a lot of time tidying up, but definitely been worth it. It's nice, everything in its place. Oh, what's the word? A place for everything and everything in its place, or something like that. I have also 100% confirmed factual evidence fitted some parts of the Integra. No, it's, we've got a wiring loom on the K24 now. We've got something like a fuel system mock-up. Now I should be able to draw my lines now and get an idea of you know, all my lines. Yeah, science. So I'm probably going to put my old fuel lines in and see if I can make it work. So I'm going to put a plug in it there. We've had some good progress. I'll not be doing anything more on the Integra this weekend, so I've got to do some stuff on my M3. I need to do the wheel alignment, so that'll be my next job and my next video. So I'll see you there if you want to join me for that. If not, we'll wave goodbye to the Integra. She'll hopefully have the cover off again sometime soon. I say the only problem is I need to spend some money on it, and there's nothing the Yorkshireman hates more than spending money. So, goodbye.